Well, I think for us, these characters in this world are real because we've seen the birth of these characters from the very, very beginning. We've been there, and to see them grow and change over the years, it's wonderful to see that, and it's wonderful to be here for that.
Yeah, I think because we love the character so much, we can tolerate working so long on a franchise. But spending time with Poe is actually lovely. I actually like him as a guy enough to spend time with him, and I look forward to.
I think it's because he's so much like us. He's not this hero on high, far away that's so perfect. He's flawed, and he's insecure, and he's humble, and he's cute and cuddly, and he's the kind of guy that we see ourselves in rather than just, this overly perfect being. And I think that idea, the theme that we're going for, which was really, really universal, I feel, is no matter how good you think you are yet, you're not done growing. And when Shifu says to Poe in this film that if you only do what you can do, you'll never be more than you are now, that's something that everyone can see in their own lives and try to overcome the fear of trying to push themselves past what they've already achieved to become even better and fulfill what they're truly meant to be. Well, Lee is Poe's panda father, and we've teased his existence in the second film. And of course, it's obvious Poe has a panda father somewhere. And it was always a joke for us that he was raised by a goose. It was literally a joke. And then the second one, we actually pursued that, and this third one, we get to meet the panda himself. And when we were doing the early development for this character, we were trying to find somebody who could this guy be? And what we settled on is, who would you think would be Poe's father? Who would you think could have this guy as a son? So we thought of what would Poe have become if he hit 45 years old and never had the discipline of Kung Fu. And you can instantly get that. And once we settled on that, boom, the character just suddenly took shape.
Having Bryan Cranston also helped with that because, to my surprise, he's truly a goofball and he loves having fun. And instinctively, when the character was being discussed, you tend to pursue what's good for the story and what's good for creating conflict between characters. So while Poe was his adorable, fun goofball, his dad might have been a more stern character that was judging his choice of job, basically. Like, we figure, okay, everybody can relate to that, create a good contrast, and it gives the story where to go. But soon we realized that we're not having as much fun as we wanted with that. And as Bryan Cranston came on board and he started playing with the character and just truly letting it be fun, we realized that, wait a minute, maybe, like Jen was saying, this should be what Poe would be if he just grew older. And then we just realized that instead of making them different, let's just make them similar and let them have fun together.
The big emotional sort of moment in this film where everybody comes together to help Poe, I mean, that always makes, it has to pass a tear test. Because whenever we're working on that, are we welling up yet? Are we? We better. Because that is the moment where all the stories, all the families, all their musical themes even come together to help Poe.
In the traditional Chinese culture, qi is in fact the life force that flows through all of us and through all living things. And so we try to tap into that mythology with this movie, allowing the elements of supernatural to enter our stories.
Kai was formerly a great warrior that fought alongside Oogway. And when Oogway found the ability to give qi from pandas, Kai learned how to take it at the same time. So he's stealing the qi of other masters and other creatures, which is very wrong. And when he does that, he can turn them into little jade amulets and also send them out as jade zombies under his control. So by the time Poe faces him, he's going to have an entire army of all his friends. This is a threat that Poe's completely not ready to face.
They did a lot of early sketches where it basically looked this beautiful mountain village, but it could have been, French Alps, it could have been Russia. And so through the research of the Qingchangshan Mountains, the one thing that they truly incorporated, which is so wonderful about it, is how much the truly authentic mountains of China and the area that they got inspired from, it was truly about the atmosphere of it. And so a lot of the layering you see has to do with how the mist fills the space, how the snow approaches place, and how much nature applies to everything.
One of the things, too, I'd like to point out is the Panda Village was designed to feel Chinese, but also designed to look very different from the Valley of Peace. We had to really differentiate the look. So not only is the architecture different, it's very organic so that we could fit more in a natural theme of a panda, but if you'll notice even the the color of the light in the Valley of Peace is slightly warm and yellow, and the color of the light in the Panda Village is stark white. You see white areas of the snow. You'll never see pure white in the Valley of Peace, and that's to give it a crisp, high altitude feel. And the spirit realm is completely, all bets are off. And we needed to make somewhere which was really, one of the big things we want to do is the ultimate kung fu battle place.
That's right.
And so what is a place where you could get people to do incredible cool moves? We wanted someplace that's not ground-based. It's not stuck on a little horizontal space and have people jump up and down. We want something vertical. We want something constantly in motion. And so the idea of this constantly shifting, changing location was something that was developed very early on by some effects tests. And it looked so different, so cool. So Hans, of course, he's fantastically, amazingly talented, Hans. And in order to try and make this film feel the same and also beyond, we wanted to make sure there are some familiar themes in there, like Poe's theme, but we have this whole new thing of the panda, so there's a panda theme. So him and Lauren went through and actually figured out a panda theme that was emotional, that you hear when you first get to the Panda Village, that you hear when the father, Lee, is helping Poe, and having that come together with Poe's theme in the final battle, and you hear the two themes work together to actually make a beautiful end score for the big gigantic finale in the spirit realm.
Yeah, that's very wonderful.
So much of a movie, the emotional impact of a movie is the music. It's really amazing that we get the same cast back. I mean,
that is shocking.
You're talking a decade since we started on the first Panda, and their careers have gone all over the place, and yet they still come back because they like their characters so much.
That's truly a compliment to the franchise. I enjoy also watching Jack Black, just a true comedy professional. I always tell this little story because it's so charming to me that one of the time we were working with him in the recording booth, he always takes his shoes off not to make noise. And sometimes when he has to make punches and kicks, he makes a lot of physical effort. He's a really physical presence. And when he makes kicks, somehow I noticed that he put the heel of his foot on the tip of the other foot just to loosen the front of his sock. So he would have this little limp little sock piece so that whenever we make a kick, it would be just that much little funnier, only for me and Jen, because we're the only ones there. So we're there, just make this little kick with a little flappy, little flaccid little sock. It would make it hilarious, but that's how committed he is. Like, let me make it a kick a little fun. Wow! And it's just hilarious to me that he commits to it so much and he wanted to loosen his sock.
I think it was wonderful to get her energy, her enthusiasm, and this female character. It's great to have a female character, and to have her be this fun, bubbly, just effervescent character.
She's such a ridiculously charming presence, and she's excited and she has fun and she laughs. So many of the time, Claire, our editor, she had to make sure that we had some other overlapping noises because she would crack up at the end of our takes. And of course, those are the takes we love the most because they're perfect. She would say something and crack herself up and start laughing over. So we had to put other pandas cheering in the background to cover her laughter, just not to ruin the take. But it's so much fun.
I think it's got an amazing message. I think it's very empowering for anyone to hear just how to make yourself achieve your fullest potential. And watching such a great and funny character go through all that, I think it's a very fun journey, much bigger and crazier and more fun than any of the other ones.
I agree. I think it's that interesting thing is that our crew is so international. I mean, I'm Italian, Jen is Korean, a lot of our crew is French and American and English, and you don't realize how much that has helped create something truly universal. Because sometimes if someone makes a joke goes over my head because it's culturally referenced to American, or I make a joke and maybe a French guy doesn't get it in our crew. So what you're left with is something that is truly universal, that does play for everybody.
I think specifically about the Mandarin version of the film, because Kung Fu Panda being a Kung Fu Panda, and how much it means to the Chinese audiences, we wanted to make something that was seamless and immersive. And yes, it's a massive technological just achievement trying to get something parallel at the same time, two versions of the movie. And
it's crazy.
It's kind of crazy. But we wanted to do it because we wanted to make this as seamless an experience as possible. This is a huge thank you for the Chinese audiences embracing this film as much as they have. It's very important to have a strong female character. It's one of the things we really thought about for Tigress. because a lot of people say, oh, Poe and Tiger should get together. I think it's actually nice to have a female character that is not about just having a love interest. She has to be her own strong character. And Mei Mei also is the first female panda that Poe is going to see, so there's going to be that sort of love interest expectation, but how can she be her own person?
Did you know that filming on the Hunger Games Catching Fire left Jennifer Lawrence temporarily deaf in one ear? Sorry? What's that you said? For this and more movie facts, click on more videos. But if you want something else, click on the playlist.